Hi everyone. We're going to work through an example from section 7.2. This is on page 603, again, of the Abramson textbook, where all of our trig stuff is. And it's number 56, and the problem says, assuming that a 370-foot tall giant redwood grows vertically, if I walk a certain distance from the tree and measure the angle of elevation to the top of the tree to be 60 degrees, how far from the base of the tree am I? Okay, and you can see my beautiful drawing of a very tall giant redwood tree, and it says that it's 370 feet tall. So the height of this tree is 370 feet. Okay, and I walk a certain distance. I don't know how far away I am, but I am over here. Some kind of distance over here. That's me over here. And I've measured the angle of elevation to the top of the tree. So that's the angle from the ground out to the top of the tree. So let's just draw in an imaginary dotted line here from the top of the tree down to me. And because we're so far away, this tree is so tall, we're not going to worry about does it hit my head or the ground. We'll just draw a triangle. And this angle here is 60 degrees. No, and then when you're doing a word problem, always pay attention to the question. So many people just try to jump right in and throw numbers down and do something, but draw a picture and then ask yourself the question. And then when you finish the problem, did you answer the question? Right? Always pay attention to that. So this says, how far from the base of the tree am I? So we want to know this distance here from the base of the tree out to where I am. That's the distance that we want to know. And anytime there's something that either you don't know or is changing in a problem, we like to give it a variable name. So let's call it something. So let's color here, say purple. And we're looking for this distance here. How far away am I from the tree? And let's call it X. That's the thing we want to find. Okay. And now we want to relate, so we don't know X, we do know this 370 feet, and we know the angle is 60 degrees. It's not so crazy to know that angle. There are ways of measuring that. And so when we know an angle and we want to relate the opposite side to that angle and the adjacent side, TOA, we want to use tangent, right? So we know that tangent of this angle is 60 degrees. Now, I'm trying to encourage you to use radians instead of degrees. So instead of 60 degrees, we're going to use the radian measure corresponding to that, which is pi over 3. Okay. So that's something we want to know. So the tangent of this pi over 3, so it's pi over 3. Tangent of pi over 3 is the opposite over the adjacent. 70 divided by this value that we want to know, X. Okay, and now the really cool thing about trig ratios, right, like we said before, is that that trig ratio, the opposite over adjacent value, when you divide those two values, you're going to get the same number no matter how big or small your triangle is. And so we already know tangent of pi over 3 from our special triangles. Okay, so we also know, maybe we'll do this in a different color. And over here, let's do this in orange over here. We have our, oops, oh no. We have our special triangles. So one of our special right triangles involves the angle pi over 3, and I usually draw it over here, pi over 3. The other special angle in that same triangle is pi over 6. And if you have the hypotenuse is equal to 1, it turns out that this side is 1/2 and this side is square root of 3 over 2. So you can figure out those values, or if you prefer, you can memorize using the chart method or the hand method, or if you want to memorize that first quadrant of the unit circle, or some people feel more comfortable memorizing all of the values for the entire unit circle, although I would encourage you, if you do that, when we come back at the end of the semester, see if you can put that behind you and only measure the first quadrant. Oh, memorize the first quadrant. Okay, so we know from this orange triangle that tangent of pi over 3, that angle, 60 degrees, is equal to the opposite divided by the adjacent, which in this little triangle is square root of 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. which is square root of 3 over 2 multiplied by the reciprocal, 2 over 1. You can cancel the 2's, it's just square root of 3. Okay. So tangent of that angle, pi over 3 or 6 degrees, is the same value. It's always going to be square root of 3, no matter how big or small the triangle is. Okay, and so in this giant redwood picture, it's huge, right? We have 370 feet. So we need to figure out x. So the number x has to be the number that makes this tangent of pi over 3 also equal to square root of 3. Okay, and so now we do some algebra. So you can say this is multiply both sides by x. So this is 370 equals square root of 3 times x. And then we're going to divide by square root of 3. So this is x is equal to 370 divided by square root of 3. And then if you plug that into your calculator, if you want, right, and a test, you would just leave it like that. If you plug that into your calculator, you find that that's about 213.6 feet. Okay, and since it's a word problem, you should always go back, see if you answered the question, and then write a full sentence with units answering the question. And so the question was, how far from the base of the tree am I? And we would write, I am 213.6 feet away from the tree. Okay, that's that problem. I hope you found it helpful, and we'll see you in the next video.